Hello and welcome. It's me, Mrreeeee, with another video to my WoW community. Now today, I wanted to talk about PvP because it's kind of like this hated, unbalanced, people don't really play it, but I have really found enjoyment in PvP in the last few months. I think as a PvEer, someone who does collecting, someone who does, C rating, M+, I haven't explored PvP because there's been this like shade of kind of hate that I just want to explore a little and have a show that's not as bad as it seems. Now, there will be things I'll talk about. Yes, we're kind of annoying, and yes, I wish we're better, but I definitely had so much fun over the last, I'd say, 2 months playing this game and doing PvP. So let's get into it. What I'm going to talk about today is, yes, I did achieve 2100 in solo shuffle as a warrior. So 2100 is not an easy feat. The percent of people that get it is not very high, but it was quite easy, and I'm going to talk about how to do it. And I think what really blew my mind, and what I think if you're now interested in PvP or someone trying to push 2100, do it with the right class. Like, I've played so many versions of PvP with friends over the years. I've usually played range and healer. I've rarely played melee. I mean, I've never played warrior. And this season, I was like, you know what? I'm just doing it, and it paid off. But I really think it's a great space. Solo shuffle, I mean, queues are kind of annoying, but it's super fun to just, like, I've been mount collecting, and then I go into a solo shuffle. That 15 minutes, yes, it's long, but I break it up, right? I'm going to go out, and I'm going to do achievements, and when it pops, and that's kind of how I did it and build my way through. I think Battleground Blitz, I've kind of enjoyed, but I find that more frustrating because there's a lot of moving parts in a solo BG. I definitely prefer, if I was back doing 10v10 raid, it is much more enjoyable than trying to do solo blitz. And then, of course, if you've got friends, you start doing 2s and 3s and earning those mounts. So super important if you're a mount collector. This is probably the best way to earn mounts in PvP, and I think it's playing a warrior. So let's talk about my journey. Okay, so I'm like, all right, I'm going to start PvP. What class do I play? I started healing with friends. I started playing my evoker. I was like, you know what? If I'm going to solo shuffle, I'm just going to send it. So I went warrior. Now, let's talk about talents. It doesn't matter. Because again, I use this wonderful website. I use Mrreeeee.io. This may change depending on. And I just went in here and I was like, I picked my class. I'm going to do solo. I looked for the top big dog, who looks like Mrreeeee. I'm going to go into that. I'm going to look at what stats, which was verse and haste. And I'm just going to copy their talents and copy their PvP talents. Easy as that. Dump it. You're ready. Okay? That was where I started. First by talent snipping. Getting all my haste gear. Alright? Once I started PvP in solo, I then started to just send it. So this was kind of my warrior, and this is pretty much it. If I saw a range, I targeted a range. Okay? I need to interrupt as much as possible, and then I'm just going to do my rotation and chase. I'm a warrior. So what I do here, I'm going to charge in. I would then go into my avatar state. I would then do my big colossal smash, roar, and then I'd start spinning. Okay? Don't know if it's right. This is what I did to get 2100. Outside of that, I'm now using overstrikes, and I'm using my mortal strike. So overpower, everything off cooldown, right? Anytime I saw an execute, I press execute. That's the dream. It's probably the most important thing when you're playing the warrior. If you see execute, press execute. And that's pretty much simple. I'm rotation from overpower, mortal strike. When colossal's up, I try and, that's going to shred their armor, take more damage, more execute. Pretty easy. Like, what a class to be playing. You're just going to chase and damage. I think then there's some niches with the class here that you might change up, but that was it. So rotation easy. Execute, can I press it? Mortal strike, can I press it? Otherwise, I'm overpowering and spinning. And now people might say, this is wrong, Jack. Man, I made a 2100 doing this. And this is the guide for simple people that just want to earn mounts. Okay? When I was taking damage, I would use Spell Reflect. Oh my god, mitigate magic damage. I would also use Ignore Pain when I'm getting focused. I would also use Die by the Sword. The only time, the biggest cooldown here for you, and of course you've got Rallying Cry, but the biggest is your defensive stance. Now the only time I would shift to defensive stance, if these are on cooldown, so all my other minutes cooldown, and I'm still looking to die, I would use it. I would never be in defensive stance when I'm doing my big cooldowns. I would always be in battle stance. If I was the Fogger, because in solo shuffle you're playing threes, if 2 DPS were hard focusing me, I would just sit permanent defensive stance. It's just the best chance of me surviving that round. If they are focusing me, surely the other DPS will open up and do damage. And I would only swap out of battle stance if I've got my cooldowns. Out of battle, try and do as much damage as I can, then shift back. So that was the only time I really used that, and I survived through. It was super easy. My kittens are going to say hello to us now in the video. Sweeping strikes again. After I'd done my big blade storm, I'm going to sweep to spread. What else have I got? There are buttons here. I mean, then it's really control. I would always try and hamstring if I'm chasing someone, so they're permanently slowed. I would always try and roar a cast, interrupt a kick cast, stun bolt a cast, shockwave a cast, like anything to disrupt the flow. That's how I would use my abilities. Shattering throw, of course, if there was a paladin. And then you've just got your berserkers if you're going to break the fear. So really easy. Like, I think if you're playing warrior, you just pop your cooldowns and chase, and off you pop. Look, I'm going to share some videos now for you to have a look at. Me dominating in the PvP scene. Look, it's a really easy class, and I think once you, like again, you get gear super quick in PvP. I think that's one of the things, like, once you earn so much conquest, you get a free weapon. You can send your honor, like, I'm honor capped, I believe, on this tune now. Like, 1500, I would send it to a new tune, so I'm playing Elemental Shaman at the moment. You know, I'm 1800 in all my other tunes. I found the Warriors the easiest, but it's super easy, man, to just climb as a warrior. I think it's a wonderfully strong, but that anti-heal is so strong. Maybe, like, talking to some fights, like, when versing double melee, I tried to be on their healer. That was because if I'm on their healer, their 2 DPS would probably on me and get that cleave. Unless I had, like, so that's a full melee lobby. I want to put the pressure onto their healer. I'm getting 3-way cleave. If I had a ranger with me, they're probably going to go the range, so I would sit to get the double cleave on both DPS. BM hunters I find very hard. They're probably hunters are my very hardest target because they don't really cast interrupt compared to other classes like Shadow Priests, mages. You know, mages are super disgusting to get around. There'll be games where you'll have 3 range in a team, and that will just be it. There'll be nothing you can do if you feel really shit. But like I said, they're the one. Most of the time, you're going to have a melee in there, and it's not going to be a full range comp because the time you're a lot of chasing. Look, you have to stay on the mages to stop them casting. You've got to stay on the Shadow Priest. Warlock, for sure, with Chaos Bolts. I think, yeah, BM Hunter or MM Hunter, because they don't really cast. That damage is kind of hard. So sometimes, if I'm not getting a lot of payoff into that BM Hunter, I'll swip to something else, because they're a pain to chase, and I'm not really reducing their damage with interrupts and kicks. My stuns are powerful, but they're very hard. And same with, like, don't be afraid to pop Die by the Sword versus an MM Hunter, right? Because they're just going to pop everything at the start. Just get through that mitigation. Super keen was, like, getting through, like, timed leaps are super important, and stacking them with intimidating shouts. You can try and spread the pack. But it's like, ook, man. Like, Warrior was just like, see target, hit target. Like, I know this. I mean, I guess pillars. I never, like, overextend behind a pillar where I'd line a healer. Sometimes if I was super frustrated, I would. And I just have a bad game, and that happens. But you're really just going to try and punish that range champ and just keep the damage up. If you can cleave, so much better. You should always look for opportunity to cleave. That's where, like, your shredding and swift target ability, you'll get a good cleave, then you start executing. Once you're in the execution zone, it's just free kills. Absolutely free kills with the warrior class. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's a really simple class to get into. PvP is super fun. I do wish they fix up. I feel like it can be kind of in threes. I find it difficult. Certain classes feel really broken, but definitely solo shuffle, definitely for earning mounts. Warrior is the class to go. It is super powerful. It's chase target, kill target. It's definitely the most fun I've had in PvP. Just ignore what people tell you and do what I say, which is go for the range target that casts spells, cleave when you can, and sit in protection stance if you're being multi-targeted. I guess the last thing around PvP talents, like Sharpened Blade and Battlefield Commander, you don't really swap, but you have the Disarm. So if I was playing a heavy melee comp, disarm is a must because it takes away that high damage from melee classes. Otherwise, I would shift to rebound. I would do rebound if I'm using warlocks that have that high cast spell, big damage that I could reflect at the right time. Otherwise, I would use storm and destruction if I'm just like, there's a mid, range, and melee. It's really just good when I pop Blade Storm. I'm going to slow everyone. Super useful. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Get into PvP, guys. It's really fun. Roll a warrior. And enjoy yourself with the mounts that you can collect. Get into the scene, and then when you farm on, try a different class. I think start here. Start the warrior. Start playing PvP. It's hella fun. I've been Mrreeeee. It's been one of my chill guides, and I'll see you for the next video.